Hello everyone, I'm John. Right here I have the Igloo 70 quart cooler. So the real question is it as good as Igloo claims? Is it a cheaper version of a Yeti? Hit that like and subscribe button and stick around and let's take a look at this 70 quart IMX cooler from Igloo. I purchased this cooler from a local retail store. It was about $175. On their website, they show them at over $210. I just want to make it clear, I'm not sponsored by Igloo. They didn't send me this product to review it. I got it for myself, and I'm doing a review on it. Now, if Igloo wants to send me some products, I'd be happy to take an honest look at them. But as with everything I do, I'm going to give you the honest truth of what I think and what I like and what I don't like. This cooler is part of Igloo's IMX lineup. There's a 70 quart version, which you are looking at here, and then there's a 24 quart version, which is a little smaller. Although the 24 quart version doesn't look all that much smaller, but it definitely is a little smaller. The dimensions are 31.1 inches wide, 20.32 inches deep, and 17.2 inches tall. And so in this case, this cooler actually fits underneath my cover on my Jeep Gladiator. Now, let's look at some of the great things about this cooler, and we'll look at a couple of the challenging things about it. One of the great things about this cooler is this. Ice coolers have always been a challenge to me. You load them up with ice, you fill them to the top full, and you put your food all in it, and in order to keep the food cool, you have to have them slap full of ice. And then you go to pull your gallon of milk out, and you can't get it back in for all of the ice. I have to say that one of the great things about this cooler is you have options and you aren't stuck doing that. This cooler has solved that problem, and so I have to say thank you, Igloo, for solving that problem. Number one, this is not a Yeti. I can just have a cooler, and it doesn't define who I am. It's just a cooler. Igloo's a good name, and they've been in the cooler industry a long time, and I'm appreciative of that. So number two, this cooler actually keeps my food cool. And here's something interesting about it. So if we open it up, and I think I have some ice in here. Nope, it's all melted, but still cold. This cooler, the lid actually insulates. And so every other cooler I've had, even other Igloo coolers I've had, as the sun beats down on the lid, everything on top gets hot. And so you have to keep it buried in that ice, otherwise your food gets hot and the stuff on top goes bad. This one, the lid stays nice and insulated. And I like that. It makes all the difference because what that allows me to do is Igloo includes this basket in the cooler. So I can put all that food in this basket that can't be soaking in water. You know what I'm talking about. Those bags that you put in the cooler, and next thing you know, they're soaking in the water and your food's ruined and it's nasty, or you've got stuff that's buried in the ice and you can't get to it because it's hard to get to. Well, now you can put it in the basket right on top, and the ice actually keeps the interior of the cooler cold because the lid is insulated, and that makes all the difference in the world for keeping your food cold. The other nice thing that allows is rather than dumping all the ice in the bottom of the cooler and then putting all the food in it, I can just take a bag of ice and I can drop it in the cooler, and that bag of ice will actually cool down the entire cooler. And so then the ice is manageable. I could even use a block of ice in here if you're in a location where they sell blocks. The other thing that would actually work in this cooler would be the ice packs. And don't tell me they work, because they never actually do work in any other cooler, because they aren't able, you have to have the ice in contact with the food to keep it cold. Well, in here, the ice block, or even the ice pack will actually cool down the interior of the cooler. So your food is easier to get out, and it's not soaking in the floating water that melts off of the ice. And the number three item is it's really durable. Igloo has put these nice handles on it. These handles are actually a coated cable, wire cable, and they're anchored in here with metal clips and grommets, and they're nice, durable, sturdy handle. it would be difficult to break these things. The other thing that's nice about this cooler is most coolers, you go to sit on the top and it dents in the top. Now obviously your Yetis and your Pelicans and those coolers, you don't have that problem. But you know, the other plastic ones by Igloo, those dent in super easy and you can't sit on top. This you can actually sit on top of and use. It's got a metal bottle opener right here, which also doubles as a lock. So I guess if you're carrying a heart for a heart transplant, you could lock the cooler up. Otherwise, I don't know what I have in my cooler that needs to be locked. But there might be that need for some of you. They have these nice durable rubber pull downs like this. Now those are actually replaceable. You can order these from the Igloo website and get them. And then they have these little areas here where you can slide a strap down and strap this thing down and hold it in place. So there's just a lot of durability. Nice heavy duty plastic. The pour and empty spout screws on and off. It's a heavy plastic spout and it actually has a wire attachment here, cable to hold it into place. And finally, it's got these nice rubber feet on the bottom right there, so that it sits soft and actually doesn't slide around so easily. Now an interesting thing about this cooler is Igloo claims that it'll keep ice for 7 days. Now, I would disagree with Igloo on that. It might keep ice for 7 days if you put ice in it and you open it once a day, or don't open it at all and then open it on day 7. Now, what I have not done is fill the thing to the top like you see all these tests do, where they fill it to the top with ice and then they'll take a picture each day. That's not how anybody uses the cooler. It just doesn't work like that. And so I see that as an irrelevant test. But if you're like me and my family, you're in and out of the cooler many times a day. And every time you open it, you're introducing warm air into the cooler. And so I found the best thing I could do on a trip is if I'm opening it and I'm getting milk and stuff out every day, or I'm getting drinks and then I'm restocking it with drinks, if I add 1 bag of ice, and they come in all different sizes now. You used to just buy 10 pounds of ice. Now it's a 6-pound bag, a 7-pound bag, a 9-pound bag, maybe a 10-pound bag. But I just buy 1 bag of ice, anywhere from 6 to 10 pounds, and I drop it in here once a day, and we as a family open and shut this cooler all day long, and then the next day there's usually enough ice in it to where if I add that second bag, everything stays cool. And then after 2 or 3 days, I can get away without buying ice for another day, day and a half. If I leave it shut, then it'll go 3 days with 1 bag of ice, and that's it. So finally, let's talk about the bad. Quite honestly, I can't think of a whole lot of bad with this cooler, but there is one thing that's really interesting about it. So if we open up this lid, you see there's this nice rubber seal here, and that seals down on this plastic surface here. Okay, so you're thinking, well, isn't a rubber seal great? It is, but here's the problem. So you've got all your food in here, you've got your bag of ice, and there's lots of air in here, right? Because you have a bag of ice and you have your food up top and your food down below, but you don't have it full to the very top. So you open up the cooler and you get a couple of things out and you close the cooler. Well, you've just let a whole lot of warm air into the cooler. Well, that bag of ice cools down the interior of the cooler. And next thing you know, you can't lift the lid because the cooler has sealed itself shut. And in order to unseal it, you literally have to loosen up the drain spout, let air in until the lid comes open. So it seals itself shut like a canning jar in certain situations. And you've got to be prepared for that. And quite honestly, it can be quite difficult to get the lid open without releasing the pressure on the canning jar. So here on top, They have a scale both in centimeters and in inches. Here though, it's kind of odd. It says scale is approximate. Come on, Igloo. 0 to 25 inches on a cooler lid, and you had to do an approximate scale? I don't get that. And quite honestly, that's it. That's the only thing bad that I can say about this cooler thus far. I think it's a fantastic product from Igloo. This IMX 70 quart Igloo cooler. I would recommend it. We're using it. We love it. We're happy with it. Thank you, Igloo. You have once again made a cooler useful, and it's a lot cheaper than their competitors. So thank you, Igloo. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you being on my channel. Hit that like and subscribe button, and have a great day.